Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay. Good
You
night.
gonna be up late?
No.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night. Don't stay up too late.
Birth certificates are what now? Chemtrails. I noticed those. What do you mean the earth is flat? IRS. Isn't it lawful? Was that real? Was that real? Was that real? Please. It's not true.
Welcome back to our channel. My name is Max.
And I'm Maya.
And we're living in the countryside, we're living in the past, we're living in the future, we're living everywhere.
Everywhere. Nothing is real. It's a hologram. Didn't you watch the intro?
And I'm so excited about this video for two reasons actually. One reason because I don't know what happened when this was going down in our relationship.
Two, it's a common issue in relationships because I've met a bunch of people who one of their partners slips and falls down the rabbit hole and then the other person is just like,
Yeah, it's
hello down there!
And I'd never heard of that phenomenon before this happened to us. And I'm actually really curious to dig into this more and have a conversation with you and just experience that. I have no idea where this is going, which is really exciting. This might be the most exciting video.
Let's give it some other titles: conspiracy theories, truthers, mystics.
Truthers?
Yeah, because it's all like, as soon as you give something a label, it becomes like a thing. And I personally don't like labels. But I'll embrace the rabbit hole conspiracy mystic title if I have to.
So a sunny spring day, 2020, March, if I remember, something happened in our relationship. Something happened to you.
It's something happening to the world, first of all, okay? When you lock people in their homes and say, there is this plague going around, killing people, you like, at least for me, I'm like, whoa, I'm going to stay inside. I'm going to work on my health. I'm going to like boost my immune system. I'm going to work out because I don't want to flop over and die. It started there. And when you're not busy with life, being a parent, I was single. I was slowing down with work. So I had time to...
Correction, you weren't single, by the way.
Oh, I meant, when I mean single, I mean like I wasn't a mother. It started with asking health questions like, why aren't we talking about boosting our immune system? Like, and then that question, and what a rabbit hole is you ask one question and it leads you to 20 different other questions.
Like an infinite tunnel.
It just keeps going on and on. And I felt like when I was going down this rabbit hole of asking questions and getting some answers, the more the reality that I was standing on felt like it was being ripped out from underneath me. And it could be a very dark place to be. But it's also...
empowering.
It's also empowering because I feel less oblivious to what is happening in the world.
Right.
And some of those questions that I was asking was, first it started off with health and medicine, the shape of the earth. What? IRS, taxes, everything. Birth certificates.
I think for you, I think what I've noticed in that moment was like when you were just so overwhelmed by everything that every subject became a rabbit hole. If it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like one thing became more and more questions. So you just led you on this path. And
even though the intro that we had was Max and I in the same place, it was literally you're like 9 hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
You went to like bed or something and I was up and I was just on my computer, and then you would call me the morning of and I'm like a completely different person who's like on a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell?
How did it make you feel when you were in that initially?
I was really frustrated because I had discovered something new and I wanted you.
And the whole world.
But mainly you.
Mainly me.
Mainly you to understand this. Because I didn't tell the whole world some of the rabbit hole stuff I found.
No. But like the people in your circle, the people that you care about.
Mainly you. Let's just talk about you because this channel is Max and Maya.
Okay.
But yes. And I wanted you to understand this and you didn't take it on with urgency. And I remember like, we need to learn how to like change our own tires to our cars.
That's just one thing that I wish I could have told you back then when you were online for that long. I would wish that you had a VPN service, and not just any VPN service. I wish you had Surfshark VPN.
The sponsor of this video. As always, we're so grateful to Surfshark VPN. They're awesome. You can use them to encrypt your web browsing so you can secure your information. Also, if you want to have access to websites, shows, entertainment, movies that you wouldn't have access to in your country, you can just hit a button. You can tell it where you want to be in the US, in Florida, in New York, in Sweden, Switzerland, Canada, Mexico.
Anywhere.
I'm
just going to the habit of putting it on every day because it just makes me feel more secure when I'm out browsing. For your chance to get 83% off and 3 months for free, use the promo code MAXMAYA and click in the info box below. So as this was happening in parallel to my world, I was just like dealing with the fact that, like you were saying, that there was a new, there was something that hit the world that we haven't really lived on a like such a global level. Like, you know, I've been traveling to places where there has been, you know, a high rate of like mortality in connection to certain diseases and so forth and viruses, but I'd never ever like seen it on such a global scale. So obviously I was dealing with a lot of like we all did, different stages of fear and realizations and all these things. So I think what was the most hardest thing for me initially with you going on that journey was that we were already so far away from each other physically, and then, you know, the world is hitting. So I had a plane ticket to LA that got canceled because of the border shutting down. So we're already like shifting further and further apart because the world is telling us to physically.
Right.
And we had our goal. I was going to come and move in with you, and we were going to, you know, we had our goal, and that was, you know, shuttered. And now I'm feeling that we're in a stage of a relationship, like, where are we going? We're a long distance relationship. We're engaged. And then out of a sudden, everything that you are now introducing to me is a foreign concept to me. And I don't have the bandwidth. I'm just caring about you and how you are. And then your urgency for me to react and respond the same way you are, it was just hard. And then it just becomes unauthentic when I'm trying to respond with the same emotional engagement or the same, passion as you are, when I'm not feeling it myself.
Right, yeah.
When I was like 21, 22, I picked up my first psychology books. Mm-hmm. And I started reading about psychology, and I thought that I became like a goddess in terms of like, I know exactly why people react. Oh, that's connected to your trauma. Or you always have to do this in certain ways. And then I apply that to my family because I get so passionate and crazy about something that I just want everyone to react the same way as I am.
That's a rabbit hole.
Yeah. I guess that's a rabbit hole for me. But like, I could see that in you, like you wanted me to react in a certain way with this, and I didn't.
For me, it was almost like a fire that's losing its combustion, which was part of the process. So when you fall down a rabbit hole and you learn all these things, it can consume you, like the fire can consume you. But because I also have a social media platform, and some of y'all might have even noticed, I was posting on my stories and it was triggering enough people. I even lost a brand partnership because of it. But they were being so triggered, and I had to pause and ask myself, is this information helping? Is it positive? Is it uplifting? And I realized the people who understand what I'm saying, they already know. The people who don't, like you or other people who don't know what I'm talking about, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help. If anything, it created more resistance.
Yeah.
I'm bringing this information. They're not in a place and time to receive it, and they just got mad at me.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I had to have a conversation with myself and be like, this is not helping them.
No.
In my pursuit of waking people up, I was pushing people away.
Yeah. I think that's important to remember, that both spectrums can be divided into two. For simplicity, is that on the side of like the awakening and the truth seekers, for instance, you have the people who are pushing on other people, and then you have people who are accumulating their data that they want, and then they do actions on their own. They don't have to broadcast it. And then on the other spectrum of the people who are not like prone to fall into rabbit holes, you have the people like me, who I feel like I'm a very open person to whatever ideas you have on the world, to so to speak. And then you have some people in the same bracket who are like, you're now shaking my idea of the world, and that is
that's not okay.
That's intrusive to me.
Yes.
So therefore now we're creating like tension. If you tell me whatever you think the shape of the earth is, for me it's like, I don't care, because it won't affect my like my realization to my relation
but
to
what
the
if
world.
it does for someone else?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, that there's different parts.
There's different people
in this world.
Yeah.
And there's easy for tension when you have extreme on the one spectrum and the extreme on the other. But I think there's beautiful conversations to have if you can just be open.
If you're open.
Yeah.
And the key, I think, here is to be open. And if you find yourself getting emotional,
Yeah.
then I think take a time out and ask yourself why.
Yeah.
Because it has less to do with the other person, unless they are attacking you, and more to do with something that they're poking at that doesn't sit well within you.
So I want to correct myself by saying I don't think I've always been that. I think I grew into the more accepting person as opposed to, because I feel like there was a tension between us. But mainly, I think because I felt like I was being attacked, that I had to be different, that I had to do some things
And
different.
I probably was attacking you. And I think in my journey,
I must have judged you too.
Oh, yeah.
You must have felt so judged by me.
Yeah.
Initially.
I felt, you and a lot of people. And I think what kept me grounded again is I'm Christian.
Yeah.
And not everyone is.
No.
And I'm that Christian who doesn't try to convert non-Christians.
Right.
I literally use my faith and my religion for me to better myself.
Yeah.
And I don't push it on other people because my mom tried to do that to me and I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
And I pushed her away and I pushed that religion away and I was just like, no. And then I had to come to my own awakening. So I think what I realized that was when I can compare it to my own life previously. And I'm like, Maya, you came into your faith because of you, not because someone converted you, but you literally had to have experiences in your life to get you to this point. You have to allow the same for other people.
Yeah.
Like none of my friends or family said, Maya, check out this link. It's going to blow your mind. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so not the same way didn't happen for you.
No.
And because I was able to see that in my life, see that with you and even people that, are subscribed to me, I was like, I'm going to put this over there. If you have questions, you can ask me, but I'm not going to broadcast anymore because it's just...
You're not getting anything
You're speaking to the choir too. Like, when you're online and you see these people that are like, anti this or like truth or that, it's like they're all swarming together, but no one's being converted.
No.
It's just like you're all getting together.
Yeah.
It's like an echo chamber.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of people that share the same likes and dislikes and even then when you get to know each other even further, when you get past this, like we have this common interest, there's differences beyond that. Like
the rite of passage for you was to maybe create a little bit of tension between whoever whoever attacked you. Maybe that was necessary for your relationship to grow.
Yes,
it surely it was important for us because I think that we had such a honeymoon stage in our life. Because I will note that this was the hardest part in our relationship ever. I think
it was the make or break.
It was the make or break. And
I think what helped me was finding other like-minded people. So I had friends in my world that I didn't know were into the stuff that I was into, and I started to talk to them and share more with them. And so at least I had an outlet to feel less of an alien.
Yeah.
And then I also had to be like, okay, share the interest that you like with people that like it.
Yeah.
And don't share it with people that don't like it.
No.
It's just you're wasting time.
If you put rabbit hole aside, you as a character like to ask questions. Like everything.
What would happen if I shamelessly promoted myself?
Exactly. That's how your whole journey started.
Yeah.
But even like me, I can be like, oh, I think we should try this toothpaste instead. You're like, why? Like that's your character. Like you're driven by questions, and that digs you into information. I, on the other hand, my bandwidth can only reach to a certain level when it comes to questions, and I think that I ask one or two questions, and when I get to the second question, I think that my the social conditions that I have agreed upon for me to be able to live within this world is what I do to protect myself.
Yeah.
And so I don't go further because I mentally can't.
You can't, and I would say it's only for those who have disposable time and income, because time is money.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to afford the time to do that. So which is why, people who are into conspiracy theories have the label of like they live in their mother's basement.
What would you say is the most destructive or potential destructive outcome of going down rabbit holes?
Looking for people to confirm you by hanging out with people that agree with your views and your opinions. And because I identify as Christian, and I have other friends who are non-Christian that live sinful lives, like I find myself in spaces where I have different walks of people in my life, and I do my best to accept them for who they are. As long as you're good to me and you don't try to like cross me, then I don't care necessarily, and you're not hurting other people, then I don't care about the rest of it. The dark side with the internets or the webs or that kind of thinking is you just look for people to confirm what you're thinking, and you all agree. And I find it interesting, like, what if you don't agree?
Yeah, but that's where I find it hard for me to find a forum, because I find like I'm very much in the middle somewhere, and I feel like it's very easy for the extremes, even on the other side, who are like for everything, you know, without that doesn't ask question. I feel like there's an extreme character of people who never ask questions and don't want other people to ask questions, and then you have the extreme who wants everyone to ask questions and then ask everything themselves. Whereas I feel like I like to take some of that and some from there and get inspired and find an alternative way of living where I feel like I can be the potential best me.
How did it feel for you? Like, what made you not want to walk away
From you? Well, I loved you. I think love is bigger than everything. It really is. Like, if you have a feeling, I think I always had to fall back on my feelings, and like my feelings to you, my unconditional love to you, and who I fell in love with. And I knew that I hadn't fallen in love with anyone else. You know, right. It was still the same Maya. It was just a new shade of you.
Yeah.
And I honestly, like, as we grew through that together, I mean, we were lucky that, you know, Canada opened the border and you were able to reconnect. And we have 3 months here in Sweden where we got to reconnect and meet each other. I think that this whole situation would have been much, much easier to deal with if we were together. The problem was we were so far away from each other. I know you, and I know your core belief, your spiritual beliefs, and I know your relationship with your family, and nevertheless your mother. I spoke to your mother a lot during this time, and then I also saw you slowing down. Like, the intensity went from like it was just like
only so much you can invest in this damn
hole. And then I saw how you were like, I just like shampoo. You know what I mean? Like, I just saw you like slowly like finding a balance. I'm like, okay, Maya's finding her ground, and I was finding my ground in like I don't have to agree with everything you say, or do I have to disagree with everything? Because I feel like there was a moment where I was like trying to like agree,
a contrarian.
Yeah, which I wasn't, and it's okay to sometimes say like, you know what, I don't understand this,
and I don't care.
Also, you know, I've had so many different friends who have so many different opinions of certain things, and you know, we at the end of the day we can sit around the table and just talk about everything. Yeah. And just, you know, that's true. It makes just conversations more, you know, richer.
Yeah. I would just say to those of you that have an emotional like yeah. Ooh, breathe it out. Like, it's not that important. Like, yes, and I was emotional and you were emotional. Yeah. So we can say this on the other side of the hurdle. Like, you know, that doesn't mean let go of your beliefs or what you think. That just means don't take it personal.
No, yeah.
Let it go.
That's a good point.
It's not going to change the fact that, you know, you still got to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
And wake up in the morning.
I would also say that if your partner is going through something like that, retrospectively, when I think about it, I think it's important that the person is just being heard. Right. Don't take so much the details of what they're saying. You know, if they are afraid that a war is going to break out and they want to start hurdle all these things and run off to whatever.
Store up on toilet paper.
Whatever it might be. I think it's important that that person just feels heard and take their concerns for real and take them seriously, but also try to have a conversation from a place where there's no judgments. That's easier said than done, but that's the only advice I can give from, you know, going through that with you.
And to the person who is in the rabbit hole, what is this information doing with your life today? Like, beyond accessing all this information, is that going to make you make changes? Because if you're still going to, you know, live the way you live, then it's pointless. You're wasting energy. So if you can't make the changes in your life, I would cut back on the rabbit hole. And if you can make the changes, which is what I did, I use that information. I'm like, deuces, like,
Yeah.
I'm out of here. And, maybe I can always, reevaluate if I like the choices that I made.
Yeah.
But use that information to inform your action.
We ended up where we are now because of you, like your journey.
Yeah.
Because I had no intention of moving onto the countryside, but it was a compromise that I was willing to do because I genuinely thought it wasn't the right challenge in my life.
Yeah.
Both of us have lived in all these metropoles. It was the right decision in our life with the current state of the world. And I'm excited that we did what we did because it has given us so much in our life.
And I did ask myself before making this move, like, will you be okay with this decision if the world went back to normal? And I was like, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. And here we are.
Yeah. The takeaway from this video.
Yeah.
Don't get emotional. Use the information and make positive change in your life.
Ask yourself why you're doing this too.
Another question. Ask more questions.
The most important thing I would say from the person who are experiencing their partner, who are in the rabbit hole, just be open to listen to that person. Be open to whatever they're going through. Just make sure that you're seeing that person and listening, because that person is going through something that can be very, very lonely, and you want to be there as you are their strongest companion. So I just want be there for that person. Let
us know what rabbit holes you enjoy. Have you or someone you love fallen into a rabbit hole?
Yeah.
It's all good as long as you're safe and they're safe and everyone around them is safe. Don't do anything cray-cray.
As always, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And we'll see you as always in the next video. We love you.